was heading towards a traffic light, and the next thing was I was waking up, not being able to breathe in the car. Someone was trying
Wow.
to wake me up.
Welcome to today's Explorers, a series dedicated to sharing the inspiring stories and varying perspectives of those who have chosen to seek out life-changing adventure. On the line, I've got Carla and Lida. Hi, guys.
Hi.
Hey, Charles.
Maybe you could set the scene for us. Where in the world are you calling in from?
So at the moment we are in the city. We're actually just heading out after this interview. We'll head out to the bush again, but we're still in the city. We had to do some admin. We're in Pretoria, South Africa, just above Joburg, above Johannesburg. So yeah, we've been here a few days.
Brilliant. If we go back in time, we'll start the interview off with understanding what your life was like before you decided to seek life-changing adventure. So maybe if you could each share where you're from, your backstory, and what kind of led to living this type of life.
Yeah, first, I'm South African, but I lived in the Netherlands for 7 years, and that's where we met.
Yeah, I'm Dutch.
Yeah, how did we get here?
I think I've always been curious at heart and always loved traveling. After I graduated from university, I used my first job to save up money, and after that, backpacked from Colombia to Cuba. And the travel bug even got me earlier on when I traveled through the States with an old rental van years before that. But money's not for nothing, and I also had career aspirations. And so after I got back from backpacking, I first started in journalism and soon set up my own company in web design and online marketing and what we now call content creation. I did that for a while, and then I moved to go work for a university at the marketing and communications department. I was looking forward to work with professionals in the field and learn from others. So that's why I made that move. And long story short, within a few years, I was leading the marketing or the corporate communications department, later also the marketing team. And then I had also started an MBA. Executive MBA. Also during the MBA, actually, we always tried to squeeze in trips. So for the MBA, we spent time in Singapore, in San Francisco, in Cape Town. And Carla and I would always try to make a trip around that in Thailand. And we traveled through California and Utah with the rooftop tent that we rented. And I think what's paradoxical maybe is that the MBA actually kind of pushed me on this path where we are now. Besides that, I learned a lot about running a business and being a good leader. It also taught me a ton about myself. And one of those things was that I never really have one thing in life that I want to do or pursue. Always on the outlook for something new or something different. And I guess I started to embrace that more and more. And that was also when I thought, it's going to be a good moment at 40 to maybe do something different and go on a sabbatical. So I guess I throw that on you at some point. I think it was on a beach in the Netherlands. And I said to Carla, well, after the MBA, or maybe not long thereafter, I'd like to go on a sabbatical.
Yeah, I remember that. So it was not, my initial answer was no.
Okay.
We're busy with this MBA. We just have really high career aspirations at the moment. I had just immigrated, so it wasn't really part of my plan to now just stop again and do something else. But yeah, I think just over a month after that, something happened. I was driving. I had just dropped you off outside of the city. I was driving into the city. It was just at the end of a very large storm in the Netherlands. And the only thing I remember, I was heading towards a traffic light, and the next thing was I was waking up, not being able to breathe in the car. Someone was trying to wake me up. And yeah, a very, very large tree had fallen on my car and flattened it and almost cut it in half. And I was just lucky by millimeters. Lucky that the airbags didn't deploy. Otherwise, I would have been under the tree. So that changed things. I got out of there rather unscathed, but it did make me start to reevaluate life. Think about what's important, set up things differently, get a more flexible life, and step by step, the seed had been planted. Then we started working.
I had nothing to do with this accident.
Yeah, I always wonder that how trees fall on, that has to be the alignment of so many planets and stars and anything for something to happen in that coincidence. But that's crazy. I'm glad you
Yeah,
came out of it
and
okay.
thank you. And it happened right in front of a big hospital. So the person that was
Wow.
waking me up was a doctor on the, on the outside of the car. So that was lucky. Yeah. So yeah, we started making small steps, choosing specific things to do in our career, trying to angle for a specific job that's an interim job or just saving more, saving more. And yeah, that was the start of it to get us to this point. But it wasn't easy. It wasn't fast. It took about a year and a half or so
Mm-hmm.
to get to that point. 2 years, I
Yeah.
don't know. And yeah, we're not looking back.
No, no, we're
And
not.
like camping and sleeping outside, was that always like that's how you travel now? So has that always been something you were interested in?
We camped a lot when I was small. We did a
Mhm.
lot of that. South Africans are campers, are outdoor people. So we did a lot of that. I think when I started growing up, my dad had back problems, so we didn't really do it a lot anymore. I did a bit more at university or when I started working, but I think actually it wasn't part of my life for the last 20 years. So yeah, this was again new to me.
Mm.
Yeah, you get back into it, but it wasn't something that I was planning to do. But it is amazing to be outside the whole time.
Yeah. We'll get to your setup of your vehicle later, but what special skills would you say you bring to your travels?
Yeah. So I studied mechanical and nuclear engineering. So
Oh wow.
because of my background, I at least have an idea of what's going on with the car. I won't say I'll be able to fix things, but I at least know what's wrong. I don't know. I can at least understand the mechanic. I can tell him what I'm seeing, hearing, thinking. But so that helps. I'm not
Yeah.
trying to fix as much as possible myself, but I know my limitations. But yeah, it helps a lot to be able to have a conversation with the technical guys.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think for me, I usually stay calm, except when at heights. But in most situations, I stay calm and try to break the bigger issue into smaller pieces and
Hmm.
solve it step by step.
Yeah, I think she keeps me seeing the panicky situation a bit more objectively and bringing humor into it, except when she's crying when it's high up.
Be that.
What about navigating and things? Who's navigating on your journeys, or is it a shared?
I guess it's more of a shared thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's not like we really go off the normal routes too much,
Mm.
but I think there are so many good apps now, like what is the thing, Map Out?
Yeah. We just use that a lot.
So good to see the details that we can sort of see new routes as we come to it. We're not planning ahead too much. I
Hmm.
think we might have a general idea of what we want to do. And then as we go, and this is also Africa, routes change, things wash away, roads are not travel worthy at all. So you need to change it the whole time. So in the end, I think on the spot, we start looking for other routes and we do that together.
Yeah, and today, like technology is so good that it's good to have a knowledge of a map, but you don't need it, even in places that, yeah, everywhere is mapped now, pretty much. It's very
Yeah.
convenient.
And if you're lucky enough to have like a working Starlink or something,
Yeah.
you're also
Hmm.
good.
Yeah. And there are a lot of people too in Africa.
Yeah,
Always
to
someone
help
you can
you
ask. Yeah.
Yeah.
for sure. Great. So, can we get a brief understanding of your trip now? Because, like, where have you explored so far?
Yeah. So on this particular trip with our
Hmm.
Land Rover Defender, we've been in Southern and East Africa. So we drove up from South Africa through Mozambique, Malawi, Tanzania, Rwanda, Uganda, Kenya, and then we came back down again south via Zambia and Botswana, back in South Africa. So that's roughly what we've been doing the last year, I'd say.
Okay. And what are your top 3 next destinations that you're looking forward to?
Angola is very high on the list, and we plan to go there within a few months.
Hmm.
We think it's less touristy still, and we hear great stories about it. And we really want to go rather sooner than later, while it still has that more raw and unexplored
Mm.
appeal to it. And well, there are so many places, but on the dream destination list is for sure we love to drive the Pan America one day, and also love to visit New Zealand. That's all.
So that's sort of the extremes.
Of the places you've been, though, where would you recommend to people to visit?
I think, firstly, okay, I'm biased, but South Africa, I think it's still well, it is a top destination. It's an easy destination, but it's also, you can find the wild. You can also easily travel on rather good roads. There are so many people in the industry to help, to organize, where you can even just rent stuff from if you don't have everything yourself. So I think South Africa is so diverse and beautiful. Around every 50 or 100 kilometers, it's just totally different. So I think this is still a top overlanding or travel destination. And then from where we've been, I think we both agree that
Uganda is high on the list. So we were really surprised by Uganda. It's amazingly diverse. People are friendly. You have wild parks and you have beautiful nature. The source of the Nile is just it's just an amazing, beautiful country.
like the diversity is from. We started from the volcano national park and the tropical forests or the rainforests
The
and
gorillas.
yeah, the gorillas and pangolin, tree pangolins, and then we went into this African savanna of Queen Elizabeth Park. I remember at some point it stopped raining and I said to you, just get out. And we got out and we jumped on the bonnet of the car and you look out and it's this Lion King moment. You just see this African savanna with the thorn trees, and it's just that mountains in the background. It's that perfect scene. We didn't do the big parks in Tanzania, so for me, this was the first time I really saw that beautiful scene. So perfect.
Was there a monkey holding up a lion cub?
I almost wanted to find a cat.
That's amazing. Yeah, you've described it well. I can imagine what that looked like. And I meant it had just rained, so the smell in the air was like on the ground, and yeah, I know those smells.
Yeah, beautiful.
Wonderful. Well, let's jump into what is your vehicle? What are some modifications that you made since you purchased it? Things like that.
Okay, so we have a Defender 110 TD5 from 1999. Used to be, apparently long ago, it used to be a pickup. It was converted to a station wagon. It was resprayed, apparently from white to green. But now this is what we bought. And then when we bought it, it was 25 years old.
And we bought it sight unseen. So we were still living in Europe. And we bought it from the internet. We had a friend who went to go and look and also picked it up eventually for us.
Where was it that you purchased it, in Europe or in South Africa?
Actually here. We're in Europe. Our was it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's good. It avoided maybe the harsher weather in Europe and that, so dry, I'm assuming.
And we were lucky it wasn't a car that was on the coastal areas, so it's not a lot of rust or anything like that. Just the normal Defender rust there by the feet where all the water always collects.
Yeah, and then we built it up in the area of Cape Town where Carla's parents live. We stayed with them for a while. And you also asked about the modifications.
The biggest thing is the pop top roof, the Alucab Icarus. So that changed the whole thing. It made it into a tiny house. That was the biggest and the best change that we made. And then other than that,
we built some storage boxes. I had some storage boxes installed over the year.
Yeah. So we have 2 on the sides, in the wheel wells, and then 2 underneath on the chassis. And that makes a big difference.
And how would you describe your approach to your setup? Is it like you have to have it perfect, or you just kind of put in something and wanted to try it and see? Because I feel like often you can go one way and you're like, I need to get everything perfect and all this stuff. But then the other way is just start with a few things and then build as you learn.
I think we thought we could make it perfect from the start. And we've spent many weeks and months designing. I mean, we were already designing when we were in the Netherlands. So we had designed a sort of a setup, but you don't always know what you're going to get when you get to the other country. Size fridges, whatever, all the equipment might be different. And we did actually build a sort of a test or a setup. We built the cabinets and everything with plywood, and we went on a month trip. But actually everything was sort of done. But I think when we came back from that trip, we decided to rip all of the wood out and just start out over with new materials, which I'm very glad of, because I think that the design and the shape is the same, really, but we lightened it so much. So we went over to composite, aluminium composite materials, perspex, and it works for us. It's not a rough setup. It's not an aluminium drawer system and things like that, but we know how to work with it, and it lightens the load on Pango on the car.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's very important when you're driving these roads so much.
I think so.
Yeah.
In general, you can say we really tried to make it good and make it work, but not over design it and purchase things we don't need. So we just, and we're still making adjustments and improving. I guess that never change.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but luckily we haven't felt that we need to do a lot of big,
No.
bold changes. At least you always want to. Yeah, it's like now we really want a larger battery system with just the battery, the capacity. We would love to have a larger one. Things like that. That our build sort of restricts us, the shape of our cabinet system. So those are things we now need to work around. But
Yeah.
like, you're right. You can't have it perfect from the start. Definitely
Yeah.
not.
You don't know until you've tried it. Oh, well, that's good you had that first trip to test it out. That's a good encouragement to people to try. If you could pick, though, 5 pieces of equipment that you always have to travel with, what would those 5 be?
I think for now I'm just thinking of the last month or so, what we really had to have. I've been using the Leatherman a lot for small fixes, like just fixing things with pieces of wire or whatever. And what else do we use every day?
Coffee filter, a very, very basic way of making coffee with this aluminium, I think it is, a
Stainless.
steel filter. So we can't go without. And then
Yeah, but the reason we have this stainless steel filter, okay, a lot of people have this fancy setups for coffee. It would be
Yeah.
amazing, but yeah, we don't have that. We first had like a whatever plastic thing like this with the paper filters. We couldn't get paper filters everywhere in Africa, so
But then in Rwanda we found this stainless steel filter, so now we're
Oh,
using
good.
that. I'm happy with it.
perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Other than that, my camera,
Mhm.
we use that a lot.
use it a lot. It causes us to have to stop a lot.
And maybe we're a bit biased, but our max tracks, our sand ladders,
Okay.
sandboards, but we just recovered ourselves from the very sticky mud in Lesotho 2 weeks ago. So they come into mind quickly.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was very important. And we realized that we probably need 2 more, but for another day.
That's
And
good.
then, okay,
Yeah.
my last one, I would say toilet. We have
Mm.
like this porta potties, and I must say, for us especially, we don't always want to get out at night. Either there's other people around, or it's just we're parked very far away, or animals.
Yeah.
So we love it that we can just go down from the bed
Yeah.
and use our toilet inside. So I don't want to go without that ever.
That's good. Yeah. I think it's always interesting. It's the balance of, like, you don't have to rough it just to prove something. You can have the comforts to make it easy.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and especially if you do it so long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
You can
nothing
do
wrong
a
with having
roughing it
those
for a
comforts.
weekend or a week or so, but
Yeah. Okay. We're getting into what I call the reflective questions, but what inspires you guys to explore?
I think you can say who inspires us. So it's other travelers that we meet that give us ideas, bring energy and excitement, but also locals that we meet.
Mhm.
And especially locals who want to improve their communities, either by building a campsite, growing their fruits and veg, or even even more inspiring stories or examples. For example, we met a guy, John, in northern Malawi, who built a hydropower plant at a waterfall without any formal education.
Oh, wow.
And those stories really stick with you. He was able to run a whole village had electricity because of that power plant that he built. He even learned to upsell, to fix things that were broken on the hydro plant, and it's just amazing to see. That village now has electricity, so children can study at night. They have light. People can cook not using firewood. Thus,
Mm.
this also contributes to preserving forest. I guess those kind of things really, really inspire us.
To go and see more stories like that. Yeah. That's amazing.
100%.
With that, then, how are you engaging with other people? Like, what's your process for opening conversation?
yeah, I think okay. Normally, just the physical engagement on a campsite or running into overlanders. That's always it's an easy engagement because we have the same interests and aspirations and excitement about everything or problems. And yeah, the locals also, that's the same thing for the guys maybe running the campsite or so. So it's an easy conversation to start and people are open.
Yeah, I think in addition to that, we're also very surprised with the level of engagement that we get online. So that's social media, but also WhatsApp groups, Land Rover community, overlanding WhatsApp groups, things like that.
Yeah, we actually have a lot of contact the whole time with overlanders, people in the like African groups. And I think you would know there's groups all over the world, but this Africa group would share or ask questions, and you can just actually find out anything on there: visas, road conditions, anything like that.
Mechanics.
And then the specialized Land Rover groups, they are fanatics. So that's perfect to get any information or help, or they would probably even send someone out if they could go where you are. This engagement has been very, very positive and surprising.
Yeah, no, that's great. Your answer made me think of in the age of like AI, you could see people using AI to ask these types of questions, but it's great to have these groups with obviously with real people with real experience and making it more real. So it's interesting how that might be used. Cool. So why is it important that we embrace global cultures?
I think for us, it's not just about embracing differences through cultures, but generally like having grace towards people who are different from us. Everyone has the right to be themselves, we believe, as long as not harming anyone else. And I think I speak for the both of us if I say this stems from also a more personal experience, more personal perspective. Firstly, we are women. Secondly, we're gay. And we know what it's like to be judged, put in a box, or made a stereotype of. So being open to other cultures, but also beliefs and ways of living, I guess that's something we really believe will pay it forward.
Yeah, I think we've experienced that if you're open like this, you learn a lot more and you experience a lot more. You probably experience that there are a lot more similarities than differences. And then, yeah, then it's not difficult at all, actually.
Yeah, I think of the recent like NASA mission to go to the moon and back, and you kind of just think of that view of like zooming out on the world, and you think we're all just the same people on this one planet. And so there's a lot more similarities than there are different. You know, we're not from different planets. It's literally this speck in the universe. So there should be more kindness and openness to each other because, yeah, we're all in it together.
Exactly. 100%. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. What are your goals? I know you said the stories and that inspire you, but like, what are your goals when you explore? What are you wanting to get out of it?
Well, goals. Where's the water? Where's food? And then for you, is Pango making noises? Strange noises?
Probably. So that's just the survival goals.
Yeah.
But I guess, jokes aside, it comes down to that. Just that you're safe and you have the basic needs, and then experiences will follow.
Yeah. I think I think the goal is to have a good experience and see nice stuff, but there are so many things to see. You don't even have to have such a big plan. It will come. Just move.
Just
You
keep
will see
moving.
something.
Yeah, and I mean that makes sense. It's not like you're in danger of not surviving, but when you are traveling like this, there are the basics of like just like you're at home, you need food in the fridge, you need water to drink, all that, and that becomes slightly challenging when you are traveling because you get away from the comforts of normal life back at home.
Yeah.
What have been some of the challenges you've experienced?
I think, the difficult moments might have been, when we had some breakdowns or got stuck. So the worst things were in Kenya. We were in the middle of a very big national park, Tsavo. That's sort of that park where, what is that movie with the
Out in
Meryl?
Africa.
Out of Africa, or that movie with Meryl Streep and Robert Redford long ago. That was that area where he used to fly and whatever.
Oh,
But
okay.
massive, massive parks, and we were in the middle of the park. We just heard you were driving, and we heard. And then slap, slap, slap. Then I said, stop. And we immediately stopped. And as I got out of the car, I looked underneath, and I saw a little ball of a ball bearing underneath the car, and I thought, okay, maybe it's not ours, but I mean, there's no cars. And I tried to pick it up. I burned my hand. I'm like, okay, it's ours. So it was a idler pulley that had totally disintegrated.
Mm.
So, and yeah, we don't have a idler pulley bearing or a idler pulley with us, of course. And luckily, the Starlink was working then, and we could finally get contact with a mechanic who had a tow truck. Yeah,
Yeah.
but in the end, we slept
Only
in
the next day.
yeah, we slept in the park on the road there. That was but it was a tough one. That first moment was really stressful and
Yeah.
tough.
Mhm.
And then just now also we had in Lesotho, we were stuck at the bottom of a hill on the cliff edge, sort of not very close, but close enough to make you a little bit frantic in the mud, and we couldn't get out. So things like that is just no.
But they're good stories now. So
Yeah, when you think back on them. And what about, it's hard to like bring every spare part because essentially you'll bring another vehicle with you, but like have you like gotten additional parts since then to avoid that situation again, or is it,
Yeah,
I mean,
that
it works out
specific
with
one.
Starlink.
That specific one, I kept to say one of the older ones of the idler pulleys with the bearing, and we were just at British 4x4, which is a big supplier here, and and they fitted a new bearing for me in it again. So now we're good for that at least. And I still need to make sure I have the right spanner for that idler pulley now that I think of it. But yeah, you try and keep stuff, but I think most of the things that I have with me, we have not needed.
Yeah.
and
It's
things
Difficult.
always
we
the thing
need
you don't
we
have.
don't have with us. So yeah, well.
Yeah. Well, that's great. It worked out. On the opposite side then of challenges, what have been the most meaningful moments for you?
Yeah, maybe.
Well, maybe also just these challenges and getting out of those challenges or dealing with them and doing that together,
Yeah.
I'd say.
A sense of
I know that it's
achievement.
not a specific meaningful moment, but
I think for me, it was. I mean, for me, I realized, I think like in Tavo, that moment where you sort of made light of the situation and calmed me down, I realized, yes, this is why I have you.
thank you.
No, but I realized how well we complement each other and how necessary it is to have the other person. So I think that for me was a really big moment, actually. And also, like I mentioned Lesotho, just when the one is crying, the other one is trying, and the other way around. Yeah, we do it together, and we have to fill in where the other one is lacking at that moment. We
Yeah.
can't be 100% all the time.
Amazing. How has exploring like changed you?
Not sure if it changed me. I'd rather say it shaped me.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's in me, wanting to explore, but in all, also this journey now specifically showed us that stepping out of your comfort zone is always a good thing, even though, or maybe especially if you don't know what the outcome is, or you don't know exactly. It can be scary, but yeah, we think a lot of good can come out of it too. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It does not mean you have to like quit your job and go live in a Land Rover. Stepping out of your comfort zone is something different for everyone. But taking a risk, taking a small step, and then another, and then yeah, something good might just come out.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, when I made the brand Explore More, it's obviously attached to like inspiring people to travel and that, but it's also just taking that first step when you're in bed and you need to get up, and it's like just keep exploring more, just that reminder. So if when you are home, I know you guys were back home for a little bit. How do you kind of continue exploring more locally? Like what the
Yeah.
separation from a trip to just being home?
Yeah. I think we just try to apply that explorist lifestyle or how you look at things and how you approach every day. Try to apply that also when we're home. So we were in the Netherlands for a few weeks and we just tried to go outside as much as possible, go walk in the forest, through the city, although it was raining.
Snowing.
Yeah. So yeah, just gives you that fresh perspective, I guess, and appreciation.
To take each other, we have to go out every day. We have to go outside every day. It
Yeah.
was sort of a goal.
Yeah. Yeah, no, yeah, just that motivation each day to get up and do something. So Explore More has a mantra, which we've talked about with your answers, but it's explore more of the world, engage with others, and embrace global cultures. What does that mean to you when you hear those words?
Yeah, we talked about it. And I think for us comes down to go out there, be humble, be open and accepting.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Brilliant. Okay, so and thinking, yeah, on that, with thinking of other people who are thinking about traveling, doing this type of exploring, what's the one piece of advice you would give to them?
So we also have a mantra. And that's well, not ours, but it's daring greatly, and well, it relates to what I said just now. Even if you don't know what the outcome is of something, take a leap of faith.
Hmm.
Maybe you succeed, maybe you fail, but you will for sure learn.
Yeah, I
So I
think what
think that's a piece of advice. Do you want to add?
yeah, when we made this step and other steps as well, we ask ourselves what's the worst that can happen, because otherwise you go into this analysis paralysis and you're only thinking about what if. But if you have, yeah, what is the worst thing? Is it money? Will you lose money? And okay, how much money can
What
you
is acceptable for
yeah
you? Yeah.
can you afford that? Is it your ego for your career? Is that the problem, or not problem, but is that the issue about who you see yourself as? And then safety. Where are you going? What do you want to do? Is it safe? That's important. And I think, yeah, if you can answer those things objectively, probably you'll get out of that paralysis, and you can make a more informed decision at least, and you'll probably see that there's not so much of an excuse anymore.
And I guess thinking back to your early story, don't wait till a tree falls on your car to make that change and decision.
Exactly.
Yeah, brilliant. Okay, well, it's been wonderful chatting with you guys. I really appreciate you sharing your story and your perspective. How can people continue to follow you on social media, things like that?
We have a YouTube channel where we make weekly videos. I think that's the main thing. And then along with that, on other socials, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. We're also on Polar Steps and Patreon for the diehards.
And you go
It's
by
all
the
at
name Wandering Pango.
Yeah, and all at Wandering Pango, of course.
Oh,
Yeah.
Wandering Penny. Okay, great. I'll add that in the description for people to check out. But
Thank you.
yeah, thank you, Carla and Lida, for sharing your story, and good luck with the rest of your trip.
Thank you so much, Charles.